Brisbane has wonderful monuments honoring Australian wartime heroes.
But heroes come in all shapes and sizes, some furry and four-legged. In fact, there's a memorial to one here at the Royal Brisbane Hospital.
During World War II, the RBH was a place of healing for injured servicemen. Their recovery was aided by the world's first post-traumatic stress therapy dog.
And here in the grounds of the hospital, near the Education Centre, you'll find a statue dedicated to her. And here she is, Smoky, the war dog. During the early 1940s, Smoky, the Yorkshire Terrier, was given the run of the wards here, visiting patients suffering from the trauma of war and raising their spirits with her tricks and cheerful nature.
So how did Smoky come to do her duty here at the RBH? War animal historian Nigel Allsopp has written a book on this little dog's amazing life.
So how does the story of Smoky start here in Brisbane?
Well, Smoky was actually an Australian, and she was born in Queen Street at a local vet shop, in fact. And she was purchased initially by a young serviceman that wanted it for a Christmas present for his fiancée. He got posted to Papua New Guinea, but sadly he lost the dog, and it was picked up by a sergeant. In fact, it was found cold and wet in a foxhole.
Smoky passed into the care of American Corporal Bill Wynne, joining him on many combat missions.
A lot of soldiers were being killed by Japanese snipers trying to carry a telephone wire across the other side of the 70-metre runway. After 3 or 4 soldiers were sadly killed, they decided to use Smoky. Now, Smoky was put down a very small 4-inch pipe that ran across the runway with a telephone cable attached to it. She was then called by soldiers on the other side, and this tiny little dog of less than 4 pounds crawled 70 metres underground in the dark to give the cable to the other side.
So how did Bill and Smoky end up here at the Royal Brisbane?
When Bill got some fever, dengue fever, he was brought back to the Royal Brisbane Hospital. Whilst over in Papua New Guinea, a young doctor called Mayo, who ended up being famous for the Mayo cancer clinics, recommended that the dog go with Bill. And Smoky used to perform a great duty by just literally running up and down the wards and licking servicemen's faces on their beds, making them happy, giving them something to live for the day.
Smoky served as a therapy dog at the hospital until war ended in 1945. She went home with Bill to the US, and would you believe, became a TV and movie celebrity.
Quite a Hollywood star in America, rival to Lassie, but perhaps unknown.
Long after her death, this little dog is still lifting spirits.
Bill and I like to think Smoky, 70 years after her death, is still currently serving the Australian Defence Force. You see, the book I wrote on Smoky, all the money all the proceeds that go to that, go to Enoggera, the army base there, the rehabilitation centre, and it helps pays for the current 2 military post-traumatic stress syndrome dogs that are used today in the very same role that Smoky started over 70 years ago.
Smoky the War Dog is available at major bookstores. Not all pets are remembered for heroism. At Stone's Corner, there's a statue of a much-loved dog with more modest talent.
This is Monty. In the 1980s, Monty was owned by a male nurse that lived locally. He'd bring his beloved lab down here to the shops to do his grocery shopping, and Monty would carry his basket.
Oh, hello, Monty. What you looking today for?
It got to the point where the shopkeepers knew Monty so well that he could simply do the shopping on his own.
Okay, some chocolates.
His owner would put the list inside, and when the basket was full, Monty would make his way home.
One day, Monty was picked up by council inspectors. He was freed from the pound, but his owner abandoned the big city to resettle with Monty in the country.
One claim is the community missed Monty so much they commissioned this memorial to him. Whatever the truth is, it's a great tribute to man's best friend.
You can visit Monty's memorial at the Stone's Corner Street Festival on Sunday, the 18th of May. I'm sure well-behaved dogs like Monty are welcome.